So I'm back on this Powerlite Toro, and I've been thinking about this, and what I want to do is I'm going to give up on this engine. I'm not going to put money into it, but I'm going to take the other Toro that I have and take the engine off and put it on this. But I figure I'd start on this one first because I was having a hard time before trying to get the pulley off. And I got to do that before I can put the engine on. So let's see if we can get this engine off. Okay, we're down to the pulley. We just took off the cover. And that pulley, the reason it's got to come off is you can't pull the engine out if this does not move. I don't have a wheel puller that's good enough to pull it off, or maybe I'll try it again. But I guess I'm going to have to try it again. But I might also need to use this pulley. I can't really remember what the one looks like on the other machine. So we got to get this off and not destroy it at the same time. So I'm going to heat it up first. Those are some sorry ass wheel pullers. They're all stripped, beat, bent. They're veterans and they won't work. Well, it's either starting to move or the fumes are getting to me. You can see you can see in the back a little bit of shiny metal. This thing is maxed out. So I'm pounding on the end here with a hammer. And a couple more heatings and we'll see if we can get it off. Well, it's definitely moving. You can see the keyway now. More of the shaft. And normally what I would do if I had a good wheel puller is I'd lube it up and tap it back in. That way the lube would kind of get in there further. But considering how bad the wheel pullers are, I kind of don't want to do that. Yeah. You know, it's always just like when you're just about to give up and like, I was going to cut the damn shaft off and then bang this out in a vise. But we got it off. So all is good. Let's move forward. Well, here's something I didn't notice about the pulley. It's a two-piece. And at first I thought I broke it because it looks a little jaggedy, but I'm pretty sure this will work just fine. Okay, we got the nuts off of the engine bolts here. Now we got to take the shroud off. And I don't think there's anything. Oh yeah, there's one other thing holding it on the other side that holds to the pull start shroud. Okay, here's the other one. I'm gonna take the engine from. You can see it just blows the snow straight out the front, and it actually works pretty good. But it's, you know, the only adjustment is here. Turn the vanes this way or that way, and it doesn't work very good. So I'd rather have the chute. This thing kicks butt, so I think it has the horsepower to blow it out the chute. Things are a little bit different. This has a diaphragmatic carburetor, so I'm not quite sure if I'm going to use a carburetor off the old one. There's a choke up here, and the other one has a choke down where that vent is. But yeah, this one's old, baby, but it kicks ass. Well, it sure doesn't look like much without the engine, does it? Engine kind of holds the whole back end together. And there's the poor beast right there. That was one with the seized piston and like the lower bearing missing. So it's pretty well damaged. Might keep it for parts. We're gonna pull the other one apart and pull the other engine off. We might have the same problem getting the pulley off, but we'll manage, right? Right. Okay. Got the other one up on the bench. You can see the similarities and the dissimilarities. I like the handle on this one. I might try to adapt this. Am I focusing? This little helper bar onto the other one if I can. But I guess without further ado, let's rip it down. Same method. Let's start over here. Well, this is one thing I was going to check before I even pulled them apart, was that the shaft was the same size. And I guess I got lucky because I think they are. Now, there's a part of the shaft here, and then it tapers for the pulley, which is the same deal on this guy, as you can see. and it's the same. It looks like it's the same width. So although the pulleys aren't the same, the other pulley should work on this. This one we got some set screws, so hopefully it'll come off easier than the other one did. This is kind of a serpentine belt, and the other is a V-belt. So let's see if we can get this off. There we go. Let's get the other pulley. Just to make sure. Oh yeah, that'll fit. Length. Check it out. We got that. And we got that. Haha. Now, if I remember right, these have different engine numbers. I don't know the horsepower. Everyone goes, 2, 3, 4 horsepower, who knows? But they look about the same. I mean, look at the cylinder head there. Oh, we don't have the cover off yet, so. Another difference is the exhaust. This guy has this weird exhaust that comes down, and then it goes between the two wheels here, and goes all the way across. And the one that the other one has is just that guy there. That little thing, horsepower stealer. But I like this one, but I don't think I'm going to be able to use it. So we got to crack those nuts. Hopefully you can see in there. A little dark. And hope those come off okay. And then we got the 4 nuts to take off here again. And then that mount on the other side, and that's about it. Now another thing I'm thinking about is the carburetors, because this one has a diaphragm type carburetor, and this other guy has a bowl, which I kind of prefer. But we'll do that when we get there. Yeah, it came off easy enough. This is a pipe. A nice wide manifold so the exhaust can come right out. And it goes down there. I took one of these engines. I got 2 of these at one time for like 20 bucks, and neither of them were working, but I got them both going. And one, the chassis was kind of beat up, so I just made one, this one. And I took the other engine, and I have this Gemini mini bike that came with a 50cc 4-speed engine, but the engine was seized up really bad and needs a lot of work to bring it back, so I decided to mount the other engine on this temporarily. And I got it in there without doing any mods to the frame or anything. It's a really rare bike, and I still might get this one running, but that is another one of the same engines. Most people said like these things don't work very well on mini bikes, are too underpowered, but I'm thinking of putting a jack shaft in and just parts that I have. I don't spend any money on these things. It's, you know, if I was going to spend the money, I'd fix the original engine, which obviously I still have packed away. Somebody with one of these things is going like, how could you do that? You know, but it'll make it work, and I didn't change anything, so no harm done. But the engines look almost identical, and probably are. It's a couple of mold differences I've seen, you know, a couple of bulges on one that aren't on the other. But I mean, the cylinder head looks about the same size. So what we got to do now is get this thing unbolted. The shroud over here, there's just one bolt in there. We're going to take off the pull start too, and the choke, and the gas tank, and yeah, okay, that's what we'll do. Probably the next thing you'll see is the engine out. Okay, the gold one's out. Tell me which one looks bigger to you. I think Blackie looks bigger. Let's look at the cylinder heads. Yeah, look about the same. The carb. 2 different styles of carb. But, I don't know, width-wise, Hey, yeah, we're gonna go with it regardless. It's our only choice. And it was kind of weird breaking down the other one, because I kept finding these mods that I did just to make the thing work that worked out pretty substantially. So it's kind of like heartbreaking. You do all that work, the thing kicks ass. It really does. Although it just shoots the snow out front, which is kind of stupid. It's kind of like once it's out in front of you, then you got to do it again. So it's just kind of weird. So I'm hoping the other frame is a better design overall, and that this little engine is powerful enough to make it throw out the chute. I mean, I only use this thing really for the deck, and I get right on the deck as soon as there's snow because the deck's about to fall down. It's so withered and old. Okay, right into our first problem. This guy goes out to hitch to the frame, and if you'll notice, this bolt is a lot longer than that one. What holds that in? Hell, I don't know. This kind of looks like, at the factory they said like, oh wait, it doesn't work, we gotta throw this plate on there. So I'm not quite sure if you can interchange these pull starts, but I guess I'll find out, huh? And the answer to that question is yes, this one does fit. So pull start works, everything, so that saved a lot of time. Okay, that bracket's back on. Now I was looking at the carburetor thing like, hey, now would be a good time to change the carbs, but there's a slight different mount here, as you see. This guy has a manifold that's kind of like built right into the head. And this one has this plate that it bolts into, maybe a reed valve or something in there. I don't know, we'll go with this for now. It means I'm going to have to drill some kind of hole for the choke. But I think we can handle that. So, forward. I was going to put the other cover back on the other engine, and it doesn't seem like it fits. So you can go one way but not the other, I guess. No matter. Well, the engine's mounted. One thing I just thought of, I was looking at this. It does have a keyway in it, like the other one did, but will it accept that bolt in here because there are no set screws in the other pulley? Dun, 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 dun. We'll find out. Okay, I've kind of hit a brick wall. Didn't foresee this. This will go on, but it's in two pieces, okay? That goes there, but it needs that outside bolt in order to hold this together like that. So drilling and putting a set screw in here does nothing to hold this on. And there's no place to put a set screw here. And this is not threaded. And I guess that would be the thing to do if it can be done. I mean, I would think that'd be very hard steel. So we're going to take a shot at tabbing this thing out. So first I got to drill it out. I got to figure out what bit to use with a variety of tabs that I have. Not very good sets. I have mostly metric, so I might have to do it metric. But I'll show you the results. Okay, we drilled it out with a 13/64 in order for it to take a 1/4 inch tap. They said you should use a number 7. I don't have a number 7. I'm not going to go get one. They said a 13/64 is pretty close. We're in about yay far. The bolt that I have is bigger than this, so I'm going to have to use something else. So let's see if I can tap this out without breaking it off in there. Well, we're having some luck, but it feels like maybe the tap's going in like a little too easy, so I won't have enough bite. So I might have to go, bore it like a little more, but we're going to try this anyway, driving a little bit further and see what we got. The old bolt was held in with Loctite. You can kind of see the remnants of it on there. So the new one will be too. Okay, this is my second 1/4 inch tap. And the threads look pretty good. Let's see if we can get a bolt to hold. Well, that should do it. That's tight. It's square. Oh, I'm so proud of myself for doing that. Alright, now we're going to have to pillage the muffler off the old engine to put on here. We might need the studs too. I guess we'll find out. But I know it's the same stud spacing because I've dealt with these before. At least I hope it is. Oh no, these just come out, so I got to pull the studs out of the other one. So we'll get this off and pull those studs out and have a look. Okay, a chunk of this muffler was broken off inside here. So I'll probably be a little loud, but I think I actually have a brand new one of these, but I'm just going to use this one anyway. Yes, the bolts do line up easy. The studs came out just fine. Let's mount it up. Alright, it's like time to put on the belt. The belt's beat to crap. But the spring popped off, and it kind of looks like there's a hole right up here. You see that? And I stuck this end through there, and it came out there. You can kind of see the mark that it made, and you know, it doesn't look like it was there before, because it would have scratched the hell out of it. And I also found that that same end fits very nicely over that. Better than this end does. So I think I'm gonna have to look at an old video where I took it apart to see maybe where this spring went. And that's the only hole I see is up top there. So we'll take a look. Okay, I went back and looked at the second video and noticed that the belt was coming down from the tensioner was coming down from this way, and there's a nice little notch in the frame right there for the spring hook, and it loops nicely around the back. So that's good. Let's look for the shrouding now. I just noticed something too on the other carburetor. Came over to look at it. It was missing the main jet. I mean, if I had rebuilt this engine, then I would have had to screw around like, oh no, it doesn't have a main jet. You know, you never know what you're going to get when you pick it up for free and what somebody did beforehand. Another thing I want to try to do with this is I want to see if I can use this choke on the other engine. I'm also going to put this cap on there because it's missing on the other engine. Will help with the primer to keep the gas from running out of it. It'll stay in because of this and also keep the snow and stuff out. But I'd like to use this choke because it will work with the housing, the shroud, the red plastic shroud. I'll show you. Okay, the carbs look about the same size, so all you have to do is take the plate off from here. It had one torque screw in the middle, and this guy lifts right out, and hopefully it'll be a replacement for the one on the other engine. Yep, they're the same. This is good because this can fit through the red housing. So now we're going to see if we can get the old gasket off the other carb so we can put it on there, and then we'll put that little cover on. See if we can get this off intact. You don't really need it, but it'd be nice. So I misplaced the screws for that carburetor cover. I'm sure they'll turn up. I probably right in front of my face and I don't see them. But what I need to do is I might need to swap the ignitions, although I don't really think I have to. Just the plug, which I think I can take off. But this primer is gone, so I'm going to try to use the old one from the other machine, which looks different. It's bolted in, but I think I can make it work. Okay, I found those screws. Yeah, the old primer worked with a washer. Fit right in the hole, nice. Now I got two different plugs that go into the ignition. This was the one that I'm going to need to use. This is from the newer one. And usually there's some kind of tab or something so you can just pop these leads out. This one looks a little easier to look into than the old one. Can't see anything in here. But worst comes to worst, you know, we'll just splice them and we'll make it work. Okay, the primer hose just makes it. The other one was longer, but I actually ripped up the end, pulling it off. The ignition wires, they're making a connection, but boy, you can pop this right out. I did get them disconnected from the block by sticking a small screwdriver in there and getting the tab, but these are really worn out, so you might have to hardwire this and tape it up or something. I'd also like to do something about this. Probably just put some sheet metal screws in it or something to hold it down so it's not all wiggly. We're getting close. Okay, we got the pull start handle on. I guess it bugs me a little bit, but we can live with it for now. I think I'm going to have to button the other stuff up on just to try to start it. I'm going to put this cover on too. But, you know, something could go wrong. It's happened before. Okay, the covers are on. You can now see why I had to put that choke lever on, but isn't that kind of strange? That looks like it's kind of crudely cut out by somebody else, like maybe it had some other kind of choke. The choke on the old one was a cable like this. It would have been a bit of a pain in the neck to hitch up because it needed a place to anchor it. And then you can kind of see how mangled this thing's been over the years. Still work though. But okay, I got to add some gas, and I'm trying to remember what the fuel ratio was. Geez, he wrote it down on here 4 times. And he still blew it up. Okay, I think my old one was 40-1. I'm going to go with that. That's a little heavier than this. It might have been the reason he blew it up. In my stash of junk that I picked up from the elderly guy, I got a knob to replace a broken knob and one of those washers. Okay, we got gas in it. My disclaimer here is the ignition switch may be wired backwards, so off might be on might be off. I'll try it with on right now. Okay, I think the choke is engaged. Let's see what happens. How do you like that? First pull. I got crap all over the camera. The only problem is the ignition switch doesn't shut off that well, so I gotta make a better connection there, but absolute success.